Hello, my name is Ruben Östlund, and I'm a film director from Sweden. Maybe you've seen some of my films. My last film was called The Square, and before that, I made a film called Force Majeure. I'm very happy that I got the request of introducing Roy Andersson's new film about endlessness. Roy is someone that means very much to me, and I would like to read a letter or a speech that I had for Roy when he had the premiere of About Endlessness in Stockholm last fall. So I'm going to read a letter just from the beginning to the end. So, but try to pay attention. It can be quite hard to listen to all the text when you just read a letter. It's easier to have a speech, but I wanted to choose my words carefully because I care so much about Roy. And I'm also hope that you can hear what I'm saying because right now I'm in Hiladou in Greece, just finishing the shooting of my next feature film, Triangle of Sadness. I can show you a little bit what it looks like. Like you don't really see much from the balcony, but I can tell you that it's really one of the most beautiful places I've been at. Actually, I'm not sure if we will success to capture this kind of environment that it is here in the movie. But if I manage a little bit, then you will see in the movie when the movie is finished. But if you have the chance to go to Evia, the island that is with a bridge that you go from Athens, it takes 3 hours to get here. So Hiladou Beach on Evia, really try to go here. Okay, so now comes my letter or my speech that I want to have for Roy. That man owes me money, says one of the characters in Roy's short film Glorious Earth. I could say that about him if I wanted to, because he owes me money. In 2015, I bet Roy about 10,000 Swedish kroners that I would win the Best Director Guldbagge for my film Force Majeure. I did, and he still has not paid. Excuse me my bragging, I cannot help it. Now I will tell you why I don't care about the money and why Roy is more than forgiven. Since I was born in the 1970s, Roy's view is part of my upbringing, although I didn't know it then, that it was him who had made those commercials that I saw on Swedish television and at the cinema in the 80s and the 90s, who formed the backbone of me and my generation. When I later realized that directing was something I wanted to do and I started at the film school in Gothenburg, today Akademi Valand Filmutbildning, I saw Roy's feature films A Swedish Love Story, Gilead, and the short films Something Have Happened and World of Glory. At the school they often talked about Roy, and it was done in a kind of sacred way. Though the film producer Kalle Boman, through the film producer Kalle Boman, who taught at the school, us students got the opportunity to meet him. From that first meeting, I have two recollections. I remember when Joy leaned forward and looked at the cross that was among the Christmas tree decorations. I remember how he winked when he saw himself there on the cross. I had, in a kind of protest against the school's glorification of Roy, pasted a small picture of his face in the middle of the glittery little plastic cross. I also remember that Roy, at the restaurant after the lecture, quoted Anton Chekhov, "It's already September." He said the quote over and over again, shrugged his shoulders, and exclaimed how beautiful the phrase was. It's already September. I had previously understood that his approach to film was unique. Now I also started to get the picture of who Roy was. A warm person, always close to laughter. He and Kalle seemed to have more fun than anyone else in the film industry. In 2000, during my second year at the film school, Songs from the Second Floor premiered. It was Roy's third feature film. 25 years after Gilead. The students at the school were invited to a pre-screening before the film's cinema release. It was a strange feeling when the film was over and we lingered outside the cinema. Some seemed confident that it was very good. Some were provoked. Me myself didn't really know what my opinion was, but the scenes stayed with me and the experience grew. After school, when I worked on my second feature film, Involuntary, Kalle Boman made sure that me and Erik Hemmendorf visited Roy and his studio on Sibyllegatan every time we were in Stockholm. Erik and I have started our own production company, and we allowed ourselves to be inspired when Roy very generously showed us everything he was working on. Nothing was a secret. We got to see scenes in the editing room and set builds in the studio, and Roy showed sketches and told us about upcoming scenes that they were about to shoot. His way of pronouncing the trivial dialogue lines often outdid the actors in the final result. Kalle showed a picture of the film crew gathered on Sibyllegatan outside the studio. He said it was taken before the production of Songs from the Second Floor started, when they decided it would premiere in Cannes. They were refreshingly cocky, and they had reason to be. At the studio, there was an attitude that I had not encountered anywhere else. Making films was serious. It should take its time. No one ever talked about money. Roy's vision should be protected and find all its way to the screen. The films that Kalle and Roy thought were limp or lying, they were not gracious to. On the wall next to the bar, where you always stood and talked well into the night, there was a copy of an encyclopedia page. The French word faiseur, was underlined, and next to it the definition. An artist who, with a sense of effect, exploits the technical possibilities without achieving deeper value. I will take that again. The word was faiseur, and its definition is an artist who, with a sense of effect, exploits the technical possibilities without achieving deeper values. Every time I sat on a train on the way up to Stockholm, it was tingling in my body with joy. Soon I would be in Studio 24 listening to long, interesting conversation between Roy and Kalle. More and more often I took courage, tried my own ideas and thoughts. There was a strong sense of satisfaction after an evening when I said something that had been appreciated. During all these hours of conversation, much of mine and Erik's approach to film was formed. Roy's view was something that could be applied to life. It became a tool. I saw Roy's situations in reality and could laugh and enjoy them. To stand with a crooked neck under the overhead lockers on the airplane when everyone waits for the door to be opened felt comical instead of annoying. The crying teenage couple that passed by on the street became flash illuminated. It had required some work for me to conquer Roy's view. Now it gave me a richer life, and I felt like I had understood what art was all about. Much has happened to me and Erik since those years when we were so regularly visited Studio 24. Much of it Roy and Kalle have played a big part in. One of the reasons I write this is because I want Roy to feel proud. He is, as you might have understood, a rather bad loser. In Cannes this year, we were invited to a market screening where 30 minutes of material from Roy's new feature film about endlessness was being shown to the foreign distributors. It was a quite simple event, perhaps 10 people in the crowd. I was very touched and began to quietly cry during the screening. Afterwards, I learned that Erik had reacted in the same way. My reaction was not because the scenes were sad. Many were very funny. But it was like I had witnessed something that slowly was fading away. An approach to us humans, a knowledge that is being lost. In today's film industry, there is a crazy staking on movies and series for the different streaming platforms. When you hear how much money Disney, Amazon, Apple and Netflix are investing, I'm struck by the thought that Roy represents a kind of European film tradition that has already lost the battle. Don't get me wrong. I know several who work with the largest streaming services that are intelligent thinking people, but the machinery that they work for wants return of their investments, and slowly that pushes away all other intents. In the end, it is an approach that spreads out together with the Anglo-Saxon domination. It is not only spreading to European film, but to all media, even to the news reporting, and it spreads to us humans, making us stare ourselves blind on the individual and become worse in putting our behavior into a context. But thanks to Roy's vision, among others, I am still reminded to do so. I don't stand up and applaud when they have found a homeless person who can sing opera on America's Got Talent. The next generation will perhaps grow up in a world of screens fully controlled by algorithms, where there is something dramatic happening within at least 15 seconds, as Netflix have figured out that it should, so we don't click away. It will probably be a bit like constantly riding a roller coaster. We will certainly not be bored. But when we look up from the screens, will we perceive how rich life right there on the street can be in all its simplicity? And will we be able to feel tenderness even with those who make mistakes? What Roy managed to get me and many others to do. I don't know. If nobody conveys that case, that knowledge, will we lose it? To some extent, I think so. This is why this text is not for you already familiar with Roy's films. I think it is for those who do not know about him, like my daughter's friends or my German in-laws. I will take them to the cinema to see About Endlessness, and I will totally, without permission from Roy or anyone else, stand in front of the screen and present the film. And this is what I will say. Welcome to the screening of About Endlessness by Roy Andersson. I'm also a film director, and I'm very glad that I was shaped as that during the same period that Roy was active. It is a totally unique opportunity that you will now have. We don't know how many more films Roy will do. So enjoy and try to see. If you're in the right angle, you will understand. Then you will laugh and be horrified at how everything is. And pay attention, because you will be able to use what you just have seen on the screen when you leave the cinema in life. Okay, I hope it made sense. I think it's hard to read text like this. But anyway, I want to wish all of you a fantastic screening. So bye from me, and enjoy when the light goes down.